Hey, Boomer, stop fucking over the younger generation. Behind me are the TWU dorm towers. On the other side of me is Woodland Avenue. I'm on University in Denton. Behind the camera is a large 1-acre piece of land. Used to have a church on it. I know because I tore it down. I demoed the church. So the homeless started moving in. I called the owner and I said, hey, I'd love to have a central yard in the middle of town to store my dumpsters. You know, it's called a lay-down yard. To lay down the dumpsters, pick up the dumpsters, and take them to customers. Out of my whole fleet, I never had more than 1 or 2 here at any point in time. The owner said yes. I hired the homeless. I also managed to get rid of the homeless and clean them out. Until it's called NIMBY, not in my backyard. All right? All these houses around here, mainly it's all baby boomers. It's all pre-war. They're all wooden houses. And they were all probably bought for $40,000. And now they're worth $800,000-900,000. There are no children in these neighborhoods because young families can't afford to buy them anyway. The area is known as Idiot's Hill. The idea is that the college professors traditionally live around here. So they nicknamed it Idiot's Hill. But this is for the older generation. So I started laying my dumpsters down here. That lasted about 1.5 years. And then one day I drove onto this yard right here. And I'm sitting in one of my dumpsters right now for you to see the awfulness that was going on. And there was a City of Denton truck parked right over there. I didn't notice him. I picked up a dumpster. I drove away. He never said a word to me. I wasn't 2 blocks down the road, my phone rings because my phone number used to be on the side of my truck. And he says, are you the guy with the green dumpsters? Yes. He said, you're out of compliance. You have to pour 80 yards of concrete. You have to make this into a parking lot to be in compliance or you can't leave your dumpsters here. This guy sat on this yard probably all morning waiting for me to drive up to grab a dumpster because I don't have my phone numbers on the side of the dumpster itself. Which means one of these not in my backyard people, one of these NIMBY boomer motherfuckers saw me laying it down, picking it up, laying it down, picking it up. I might come here twice a day, maybe. And they called the city. And the city sent a worthless idiot worker up here in a city truck to wait until I showed up to get my phone number to call me to tell me that I can't park my dumpsters here anymore. Dumpsters that did nothing but sit here and do nothing. And what sucks is there was another young man that worked up at the cigar lounge. He wanted to get his start. He started doing what's called hot shotting. Now that's up and down the highway. That's across the state. And he bought himself a nice, good-looking, I think, 26-foot trailer, and he was worried about a place to park it. I had him parking it here at that telephone pole right there so that he could chain it up. So he was here. I was here. There was no activity. There were no tenants. There were no nothing. We cleaned up the homeless, cleaned up the entire property. Not a problem. But, oh no, not the $800,000 house not in my backyard, people. They had to call the city, and the city had to say, well, you're out of compliance. And they gave me that day to clear everything out. And I said, well, that's not going to happen. You got to give me a week. I got to find another yard. And then I had to call this kid, tell him that he had to pull it as well. And now the homeless are back. I can see remnants of them right now. Hey, Boomer. And I say Boomer because I know this neighborhood. And there's a welding shop literally right there at that fence that you can't see. And I got to know them. They were nice. But that's behind a fence, so I guess nobody cares. Stop doing this to the young. So here's how I'll end the video. I cannot tell you, in my trash business, going to people's houses, demolition, I'm about to demo a single wide trailer. Anybody above the age of 65, it's always the same complaint. I can't get anybody to work. Nobody wants to show up. I can't get anybody to answer the phone. American young men don't want to work. Now, that's a huge conversation for a podcast. But here's one of the reasons. Reason number 4,000 why young men aren't doing it. They find a yard, a piece of land in the middle of town to drop some equipment. They work a deal with the owner to keep the homeless out of here. And what do y'all above 65 people do? Not in my backyard. We're not going to have any legal dumpster business in my backyard. That's what I was accused of. They sent me a letter and everything. An illegal dumpster business. And I lost my yard in the middle of town. Now I had another one in Little Elm about 10 minutes away. But fucking heck, man. Don't ever, if you're above 65, and this is the stuff that you're willing to do to other people, especially the young, and I'm not young, 45 years old, but the other kid was 24. If this is how you are, I'm going to call the city, I'm going to complain, I'm going to get those 2 young men thrown out of here. Don't you ever complain that young people don't want to work no more. No. You don't get to say that. You get to shut up and watch your neighborhood deteriorate and watch your kids not care. I've been to your houses. I've cleaned out your garages. I've cleaned out your barns. Oh, well, my son lives in Oklahoma City, doesn't talk to me anymore. Yeah, I don't blame him. So all you NIMBYs, not in my backyard, people, you better be careful with that. You're losing your youth. They need to be upheld, dude. They need to be supported. They need to be loved. This piece of land right here, it should be filled with equipment of young men and women coming and going to, make the toilets flush in your town. But nope, not y'all. That's not how y'all work. I actually think I know who it is. There was this one guy that kept checking in too much. But it's disgusting. You either get on the train and you help your country, because God knows the government's not going to do it, or at least don't call the city and make us deal with them. Or shut up and pay $600 to have an AC guy show up, because he's got to drive 45 minutes from the countryside to get here. Okay, Boomer?